I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap that like she scored 30.
What are we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.
What's up, guys? So we talking about sports. It's an NBA pull-up playoff edition. The NBA playoffs are officially here. We already got some of the playoff games kicking in, and we got the battle for the 8 seeds starting tomorrow. By the time you guys hear this, I'm joined here by Ben, Justin, and Ron. What are you guys up to? How are you guys feeling?
Shit, excited to be back, man. I haven't been on the pod in like two and a half weeks probably. So just excited to see the boys. Excited for NBA playoffs. As you can see, MLB's back. No more lockout. So it's a fucking great time to be a sports fan right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Glad to be back. Like Ron said, it had been a while. We've had some stuff go down, but most importantly, the NBA playoffs is about to kick off this weekend, Saturday. The first round matchups begin, like Roland mentioned, play-ins tomorrow. Saw some, at least one person's team on this podcast gave themselves a fighting chance. They went out valiantly. But yeah, man, I mean, our team sucked. The Rockets and the Lakers, the Spurs, at least they put up a fight. Yeah, glad to be back and talking playoffs, bro. These first round series should go hard this year.
You, Justin, how are you feeling?
Yeah, glad to be back with the podcast. A little bit down on the NBA side. My team didn't make it, so I can't be so excited for these playoffs. I'm trying to find the matchups I like. There's a few matchups this first series I'm looking forward to, but either way, I'm happy for Saturday. We got the USFL, some sort of football coming back, a good boxing card with Earl Spence and Ugas fighting, and a little bit of UFC to decide a welterweight contender or not. So Saturday's sports is coming up. It's going to be pretty nice. And then, of course, Easter with the fam.
Another good weekend of sports for sure. And let's get to it. It's the NBA playoffs. Like we said, the play-in has already started. We'll get to the guys who are about to play right now. That was a picture of the bracket. But this one up here has the play-ins that already happened. Just to recap those real quick. The Pelicans beat the Spurs yesterday. They took out my Spurs. I actually put a little bit of money on them just to cover the 6 points, just so I can have a little bit more of a rooting interest in my team. And they fell short. They lost by 10. But I'm a little bit okay with that just because they get to maintain their draft odds. So they have like a 20% chance of getting into, I think, the top 4 or something like that now. Or I don't know exactly how that works. But at least they don't have to worry about going into the playoffs or losing any more of their lottery odds. So I'll take it. And they fought hard, so not too down about that. And then the other game yesterday, which I was a little bit surprised was a blowout, was Atlanta and Charlotte. Were you guys surprised by that outcome, or were you expecting Atlanta to blow them out?
Surprised.
Nah, I mean, I was kind of expecting it just because it's a blueprint of what Atlanta did last year. They got hot late, especially at home. We know Charlotte can't play any kind of defense. It was going to be a high-scoring game, and Atlanta did what it was supposed to do. They won at home, and they won convincingly, and they'll take that momentum. I don't know if they go to the Eastern Conference Finals like they did last year, but
they still got to make the playoffs because they're still not in yet.
Yeah, I know, but that momentum, if they play like that, nobody's going to beat them.
Sounds like Ron likes them in the next game.
Ron's all ice trade out.
What about you, Ben?
I will take Ron's side in the fact that I wasn't surprised because, like he said, no type of defense that Charlotte plays. You got Mason Plumlee down low. I mean, Capella ended with 15 points, 17 rebounds. Trae Young didn't even have a very good game. It was just an overall team effort. They dominated them. For Charlotte, it seemed like nobody showed up besides LaMelo. I mean, LaMelo was, friend of the podcast. He showed up. He went out with some pride. But for Terry Rozier, was a complete no-show. That was surprising because guards are usually able to go off against the Hawks, and Rozier didn't do much. So I expect the Hawks to get into the playoffs, just hinting a little forward. But like Ron said, they're catching fire at the right time. And over the last 10 games, they've maybe lost 1 game. So they're peaking at the right time. They're still without John Collins. He won't be playing for them tomorrow. But you know, they are going to be playing the Heat in the first round if they do make the playoffs. So it's going to be an intriguing series and kind of a bad draw for the Heat, I would say.
Yeah, don't be throwing any mouthpieces in the stands either, bro. You know?
Yeah, that was hilarious. Poor girl. Hopefully, Miles Bridges gets in contact with her, like he's already trying to. And Justin, were you surprised by this?
Yeah, I was surprised because I thought those two teams were a little bit going to be more evenly matched. And then when you see these dogs running on them, running up the score, I was just surprised that, hey, these Charlotte's still that much further away from being a contender in the East still. I thought this year they had made some steps forward, but ultimately they're still not there, and they're going to have to improve through the draft again and get some more pieces. LaMelo can't be your best guy in his second year.
Yeah, I will say I was surprised that they lost by almost 30 points. It was 132 to 103. I was surprised that the margin of victory was that bad or that much in favor of Atlanta. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a close game. I kind of thought Atlanta was going to end up pulling away because they were good at home this year, and like Ron said, they were catching fire at the right time coming into the play-in and potentially into the rest of the playoffs. But I did expect Charlotte to put up a little bit more fight just because they've been in this game. They were there last year, and they got, I think, blown out kind of in similar fashion, if I'm not mistaken, trying to get into the playoffs. So a little disappointed from that perspective. And like Ben said, LaMelo's a friend of the pod, so always got to root for LaMelo when I can.
Last year it was the Pacers last year. It was the Pacers last year who took about last year.
And the other side of the table in the West, the other game that took place, it looked like somebody won a championship, but I'm not going to hate on them because, hey, they're getting into the playoffs, and I understand, how exciting it is for this fan base. So not going to hate on them. Minnesota took out the Clippers in a great game. When you thought it was all over for Minnesota, I saw a bunch of people live betting the Clippers when Karl Anthony Towns fouled out. But Minnesota found a way. They hit a couple of big shots. They got the stops when they needed them to, and they beat the Clips. Were you guys rooting for Minnesota in this one? Were you happy to see them get the victory over the Clippers?
It's the weirdest thing for me because I'm used to seeing Pat Bev on that Clippers jersey being a nuisance to the Lakers, and I hate it. But now I'm seeing him being a nuisance to the Clippers, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be cheering for this, but I kind of like what I'm seeing. So it's a weird thing for me.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Wolves myself. I wanted them to get in. I think that they're young, they're exciting. They have, three pretty above average players in Russell, Cat, and Anthony Edwards, who showed up big time for them. Him and D'Lo were going crazy in that second half. I'm glad that they're not going to be in the play-in game, having a battle with the Pelicans, but their series against the Grizzlies is, Pat Bev and John Morant. That's they secured their 7th seed, so they're up against the 2. I'm really intrigued by this Minnesota team. I'm sorry. I think, like I said, they're exciting. Cat has to show up though, man. He was a complete no-show. I believe he ended with 7 or 8 points. Just an all-time bad performance, and the young team still found a way to get through a gritty Clippers team. This Clippers team is a team that's a thorn in everybody's back. You know what I mean? Yep. They're just scrappy as hell. They got Paul George back within the last 2 weeks. And now, we saw them win a series last year.
The Bill Belichick of the NBA.
Yeah, Ty Lue.
Yeah.
But they're scrappy, and that was a big win. Pat Beverly was acting a fool. He was growling at Reggie Jackson after taking his cookies at the free throw line. It was amazing. Like Roland said, it looked like they won the championship. They were definitely high, jumping on scores tables and celebrating. And then Pat Bev said, since he's been in the league, he's never missed the playoffs. So again, he goes to Minnesota. The Timberwolves are in the playoffs. I'm going to be excited for their series for sure, man.
I think it's the best series in this whole first round, in my opinion.
Dude, I'm a big Anthony Edwards
fan. I think it's the best series in the West. I agree with you on that, Justin. It is the best series.
Give me that at least, Roland.
Yeah, the best series in the West. Because I think Minnesota, we'll get into it right now. Minnesota and Memphis, they do a lot of the same things in terms of they play up and down. So it's going to be a high-scoring series.
Both gritty teams.
All right, and I think that about that. Oh well, the other one that took place was Brooklyn and Cleveland. Brooklyn solidified the 7th seed and set themselves up with the Celtics, and now we got Atlanta and Cleveland. Any predictions for this before we get into the guys that are actually already in the playoffs?
As far as who's getting the play-in,
Yeah, Atlanta or Cleveland.
man, give me Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll take Atlanta here too.
Yeah, I love Cleveland's story, but just the way that Atlanta played this game and just that they played together for so long or longer than the Cavs have, give me Atlanta.
I like Atlanta also. Without John Collins, Jared Allen did say he's going to give it a go, the big man for the Cavs. They've been without him for about the last month and a half, 2 months. So he is going to give it a go tomorrow. We'll see how long he holds up. But they need him. They definitely spiraled downwards after his injury. But yeah, I got Atlanta, man. Even though the game is in Cleveland, Atlanta does have the best player on the court in Trae Young, and they're the more experienced team. It sucks because Cleveland, I was pretty big on them making the playoffs this year early on. I really like Garland. I liked Mobley. I liked Allen. That injury screwed them, and I think that they're going to end up missing out on the playoffs here.
Yeah, Vegas apparently thinks that they have a good shot because the line's only -2. So
that's a pretty coin flip game.
For the Hawks. So it's a toss-up game. It should be fun to watch. Just like we expected a good game last night with the Hawks or whatever 2 nights ago with Charlotte. I think we might get a chance to actually see that tomorrow with the Cavs.
Garland against Trae Young will be nice, man. They'll put on a show.
And then on the West, real quick, some quick hitters: New Orleans or the Clippers, or New Orleans or LA. Who you guys got?
I'll never say the Clippers, so give me New Orleans.
Damn it, boy. I want to see the Pels in. I like the team that they have, and Zion's out there dunking pregame. Maybe he'll suit up if they make the playoffs.
Bro, what is up with that? If you're dunking pregame, you're good to go.
Give me the Pelicans, and let's get some drama in that first round against the Suns. Zion comes back, and they give it a go. His dad did come out and he did an interview with ESPN and said that he's probably he wants to play this year. That Zion wants to play this year. That was his stepdad who gave that interview last week, and it kind of brought in like, will he play the playing game? Will he not? He didn't. They were still big favorites over the Spurs. But man, with Zion inserted into that lineup, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas.
Yeah, man, they did not miss last night.
Yeah, they were on fire. So I'm rooting for the Pelicans hard, man. But my heart tells me Pelicans. My mind tells me take the experienced Clippers team who's been there before. They were in this situation, I believe, not last year, that it was Memphis, but they win a lot of games that they're not supposed to, and it is in LA as well. So.
Yeah, the line's Clippers. You're going to take the Pels too?
Yeah. What's the line, though, Ron?
-4 Clippers.
Yeah, the line is -4 Clippers at home. I'm not the biggest Paul George fan, so I'm going, for the Pelicans, and also because I'm glad that fucking McCollum finally left Portland. So it's good to see him kind of branch out. He's been a dynamic duo with Ingram. Yeah. Like Ben said, shit, how crazy would it be to see Zion back? I think there's a lot more ceiling for the Pelicans to make a little noise. I don't think that the Claw and Kawhi is going to come back at all. Paul George is back, but I really don't love his game. I don't really like to watch him play, and I don't like to watch the Clippers play, man. I'd rather see teams that I want to see play, and give me the Pelicans to advance, hopefully.
So if the Clippers do make it through, do we see Kawhi at all this playoff?
No, I doubt it.
There's been videos of him shooting around, and he even told the guy, like, yo, stop filming, because he was filming Kawhi taking jumpers in the gym, but there hasn't been really any, like, even rumors of him coming back, so I don't see it either.
I don't see it.
All right. Yeah, no. But I will say on Ron, I just wanted to say, because you brought up CJ McCollum, his offensive bag is deep. That guy has a handle. Like, it doesn't get talked about a lot, like with the Kyrie Irvings or the Steph Currys, but that guy can get to his spot at any time. So I gotta give CJ McCollum some credit. That guy has a good offensive game.
He's averaging about 25 points a game.
When Minnesota had played the Clippers, Anthony Edwards had said, "We just got to shut down Paul George and we'll win the game." And I think that that's the exact same mindset that the Pelicans need to take. And they actually have a guy in Herb Jones, a rookie out of Ohio State. He's getting a lot of people's votes to be that fifth guy on the first team all rookie team. Bill Simmons had a piece saying "fuck Jalen Green," and then he voted Herb Jones for the first round. He walked it back the next day about fuck Jalen Green, but a lot of people are voting for Herb Jones. He averages 9 points a game, but he's always sticking the other team's best player.
The three.
Yeah, he's a 3-and-D guy, but like he's always going to be guarding the other team's best player. He's going to be on Paul George tomorrow. If he can stay out of foul trouble early, I really like the Pelicans' chances to win the game.
I think Herb Jones was out of Alabama though, not Ohio State.
Roll Tide.
Because I like the Ohio State kids.
All right, well,
let's get to one of ours.
Let's get to the games that are yet to be played, but we already have some series lines out there, and it wouldn't be we talking about sports, so we didn't talk about these series prices. So let's get to them. Let's go from top to bottom, I guess.
First one's crazy.
This one has some drama just because it's the Utah Jazz, the team that supposedly hates each other. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert don't like each other. They don't want to be there. Quinn, what's his name? Coach Quinn. What's his first name? I'm blanking out, but Dan Quinn. There you go. He looks more.
Oh no, that's the Cowboys fucking guy.
I just know it's Coach Quinn. Coach Quinn. I'm just gonna stop there. Quinn Snyder. There you go.
There you go.
I was blanking out. Anyways, he looks more and more frustrated each time you see him.
He's already thinking about that Lakers job rolling.
Or maybe the Spurs job. He was linked to the Spurs job whenever Popovich might leave. That's what I'm hoping up or holding out for. Anyways,
one team already has an opening, brother, and he's linked.
That's true. The Jazz were not expected to be favorites, but Luka Doncic got hurt in the last game of the season, calf strain, no timetable for his return. The Jazz find themselves minus 315 favorites, as shown up here above, and the Mavs are plus 255. Is anybody here willing to bet on the Mavs keeping this close enough to maybe hold or tread water until Luka comes back, or are we all out on the Mavs this first round series?
Here's a question for me, because we know that the Mavs team is pretty good. They got Spencer Dinwiddie, and we've seen them be successful, with Dinwiddie in there and Luka out. They've won some big games. They have a good core, good chemistry, and they have home court advantage. So with the odds that are presented here, don't you think maybe they come out juiced as hell game one, just take game one at home, Derek Brunson's hitting, Dinwiddie's hitting, the guys are playing and they're scoring, and they win game one of the series. I just don't think that we're going to see that price again on the Mavs in the series unless Luka's literally, they know more than we know, obviously. It's a pretty steep line, bro. They got to think that, when do they think Luka comes back, if he comes back? Game 5? Like, for minus 315 on the Jazz and they don't have home court, they got to be thinking that Luka's going to be either out for the series,
a minimum of 2 games,
or the back end, bro, because those odds are pretty wild.
Yeah, because they're pretty.
Yeah, those odds tell me that he's not coming back, and if he does come back, he's coming back hurt, which is not good news for the Mavs. I don't think I can bite the bullet and put anything on them. I'm staying away here.
Yeah,
Ben brings up a good point though with the whole game one. The Mavs have enough pedigree to come out and maybe steal that game, but I like the Jazz in this series. What were you gonna say, Ron? I'm sorry.
No, you're good, dude. I see that it's juiced plus 255. We think that's big, but I don't think it's juiced enough. If it's at plus 380, plus 350, then I probably take a stab at it. But at plus 255, I just can't put my money on to Justin's point, saying that somebody knows something. It seems like Luka's not coming back at all. It is, to Ben's point, the first game is Saturday at 12 p.m. So it is an early game. Jazz will probably fly in the day before, but if you're the home squad, you want to be in your home gym and you want to be in your home gym early. The fans will show up. The line's -5, so it's not too crazy for game one. But even then, man, I think it's going to be.
If they win that game run, what do the series odds adjust to? If the Mavs win game one, does it go down to?
Yeah, you're still seeing plus money for the Mavs, but
plus 180, plus 175,
plus 175, 180.
Yeah.
I was thinking like plus 120.
Nah, not that low. Just because
and Luka's got to be out.
Luka's
bro.
gone. Yeah,
the Mavs this season are 8-9 without Luka Doncic. That's per per stat muse. He's missed 17 games or 8 and 9 without him.
And last year, I was one that picked the Jazz to come out of the West. But like the stuff is evident with their team, like the problems inside of the locker room. I mean, they're just marking the calendars off. Donovan Mitchell he's forcing his way out this summer. Ain't no two ways about it, bro. He's gone.
He's gonna be a Knick, right?
He's gonna try and get to the Knicks as bad as possible. And that's the thing that we've seen with NBA players. Like once they commit to, yo, I'm done here, they get their way, bro. We've seen them do it in so many different ways and ways that we would think, yo, there's no way this guy gets what he wants. And boom, he ends up on the Brooklyn Nets with KD and Kyrie. So
yeah, I mean, but then you look at the role pieces there for the Jazz. You still have guys like Bogdanovich, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, Rudy Gay. Besides the Rudy Gobert and the Donovan Mitchell guys. I mean, House, which was a big guy that I know you followed, Ben. And then Hassan.
That's the guy that got kicked out of the bubble, cuz. Come on.
Hassan Whiteside's still there.
Whiteside, shooters.
I mean, I was just saying, man, there's too much talent, there's too much depth on the Jazz roster for me to put any money on the Mavs, this plus 255 line here.
All right, well, let's move on to the next series. This is Justin's favorite series of the first round. It's the Timberwolves versus the Grizzlies. The Wolves, they find themselves plus 310 underdogs, and the Grizzlies are heavily favored here at minus 400. Justin, you're calling this your favorite series. Are you willing to maybe sprinkle a little bit on the Wolves in maybe a 7-game upset?
No, I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies. I do like deloading. He's ex-Laker, but no, I think this series actually probably goes 6-7 games. But give me the Grizzlies in the series.
What about you, Ben?
This has Grizzlies in 6 written all over it to me. I think that for sure the Grizzlies do win the series. I mean, the Timberwolves are nice. It's going to be good. They're going to get some experience. And then maybe they can add something this summer and be in the position that the Grizzlies are now. Because this is where we saw the Grizzlies last year. So,
sure.
They have the youth. They're following that. It seems like that same blueprint that the Grizzlies did. I think that this is a good series. It sucks. This is kind of like when the two mid-majors get matched up against each other in the tournament, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let me see the T-Wolves against the Jazz. Or let me, you know what I mean? Give me a different matchup than the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves, two teams that I really want to see in the playoffs. So I am going to go with the Grizzlies, though.
I'm just going to say 2 words, and everybody knows Ja Morant. I think this is coming out party this year. He's been killing it all regular season, and he's just going to be that X factor. You know what? If we said it's going to go 6 games, maybe 7. We think it's going to go deep, so you might see some tight games, some close games, and this is where I think he's going to put the team on his back and make that game-winning shot or make that 5-0 run himself. So just too much talent for the Grizzlies. Good story though with the Timberwolves, but I think Ja Morant's just going to put the team on his back and take them to victory in 6, possibly 7 games.
He has more dog in him.
I do think this is going to be an exciting series. I probably lean towards the Grizzlies in the series. I do think it'll be a 6, potentially a 7-game series. I could see it being a 7-game series if the Timberwolves steal game 1. I think it's a good opportunity. The Grizzlies have kind of been parked for a little while. The Timberwolves are still on that high, maybe, of just getting into the playoffs, beating the Clippers. They've been playing playoff basketball or in playoff mode for a little while, trying to maintain their spot in the standings. So I could see them maybe stealing game 1, but I ultimately think the Grizzlies, they've just been playing too good of team basketball for this for a longer portion of the season to have them lose in the first round. I can't foresee it. It's a good matchup stylistically. The two teams, they're both up and down. The Wolves matched up good against the Grizzlies this year when they played. That's why I like the Wolves and the points maybe, and maybe even sprinkle a little on the money line in game 1. But give me the Grizzlies here in the series.
I think for that play-in game, that crowd really helped the Timberwolves a lot down the stretch.
Yeah, when Cat went out, for sure.
Yeah, like the crowd was insane. It definitely made the biggest impact out of all the play-in games that we had. And you had A-Rod, getting rowdy there front row also. But here with them on the road, what I'm most intrigued about in this series is the matchups. Like you're going to have Brooks and Bane matching up with Anthony Edwards. Down low, you're going to have Steven Adams and Cat, a guy who could kind of bully Cat. We could see Cat, possibly bitch out in this series. And then
that like OG.
Yeah, D'Lo and John Morant, Pat Bev and John Morant. There's really good matchups.
Good matchups, bro. All the way around in this series. I like it.
All right. Let's go to the next series here. I think we were all on the Grizzlies there in that last one. Moving on, let's go to the East for this next one. Just moving in order of what's on the screen. We got the Raptors versus 76ers and a sneaky. I think this is another intriguing series. The Raptors are plus 150. 76ers are minus 180. Much has been talked about the 76ers squad since they acquired James Harden for Ben Simmons. They've shown some peaks. They've also shown some lows and some big games. The Raptors, tried and true. Nick Nurse, good coach. They got a good squad. Got a lot of guys that have been there, done that. I'm still going to go with the Sixers because I was high on them, and I made my bold prediction that they're coming out of the East, so I'm not going to bow out on them in the first round. This is a good matchup, though, but ultimately I think Joel Embiid, my MVP, is going to come through and at least will his team through to victory in Game 1. In the first round, excuse me.
Yeah, there's that proverbial hump that people talk about, and I don't think the Sixers are quite over it. You can't get over that hump. I think they win this series, but I think they're out in the next one after that.
Damn. Bold statement there, Justin. But give me the Sixers as well. Harden and Embiid, man. Harden's got that playoff experience. He shows up, and it's just gonna be. I say this is a series where people might think that it's gonna go late games, but with the with the home court advantage going to Philadelphia, we know how the Philly fans are. Give me Sixers in as early as 5.
Are you worried that Matisse Thybulle is not going to be able to play in Toronto? Yeah, because of his non-vaccination status. Too. Key defender. Just want to
True, but I mean, you still got Maxey, who's a dog in himself, young dog. So maybe a younger Pat Bev, if you will.
I'm going to go with Philly in 7. I do think that because they have home court, they will win the 7th game at home. I do think that it's a big, setback and towards Matisse Thybulle. I mean, he only averages like 5-6 points offensively, but he is your primary defender, perimeter defender, because you have James Harden out there, the shooting guard.
Point shooting.
Yeah, but like they don't have anything defensively on the perimeter wise. Danny Green fills in for Thybulle when he doesn't play, and I mean it's an old, playoff tested and experienced Danny Green, but if you ask me, Danny Green's washed up already. So the 76ers definitely have the coaching advantage. Nick Nurse over Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers will cost the 76ers one game somehow, some way.
The Raptors have the coaching advantage.
Yeah, when Nick Nurse has a coaching advantage against Doc Rivers.
100% agree on that.
Big time. And I think that Doc Rivers will cost the Sixers a game some way, somehow. But eventually, I mean, with the MVP, I agree with Roland, scoring champ of the regular season, Joel Embiid. I don't think that they're going to have anybody to check him. Siakam's probably going to be their best hope. The Raptors do have a bunch of lengthy bodies, but nobody with any real muscle on them. You know what I mean?
No girth.
Yeah, no girth. Pause. But so Joel Embiid should have his way. And I think Harden knows to get him the ball, but I do see it being a fought-out series. Give me Sixers in 7.
And I got to ask you real quick before we move on to the next series, Ben. Is there a lot of pressure on James Harden here for you?
Yeah, big time. Big time pressure.
Sure. Hell yeah.
Big time. Might be the most pressure in the playoffs might be on James Harden. Yeah. Out of all players.
I can totally agree with that, too.
It's just stars, man. It's playoff time and it's stars. I don't see anybody what players can you name me besides Siakam and Van Fleet? That can actually make something happen.
Well, Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. has been really good for them.
Yeah, he's been well, but I mean, anybody that can take it, like, who's that third guy?
They're just a real gritty team, and they have a lot of chemistry. This Philly team can get lazy at times. I mean, we've seen both Embiid and Harden at times be lackadaisical and just kind of go through the motions because of how comfortable they are. The Raptors are a team that's going to be in your face. They're going to be that pest all game. They're that type of team that doesn't take any plays off. It's just not the first round matchup you want, in my opinion.
This is a 6-game series, at least. I think the Raptors have 2 games in them for sure.
I say 7, but give me the Sixers still. Good test though.
Yeah.
Get through this, and you're ready for the playoffs.
For sure.
If you can parlay series prices at anything under 200 for the Sixers with home court, I would definitely jump on that.
All right.
All right, well, let's get to another one. This one's not as closely lined as the last series that we just talked about. It is in the West also. It's the Nuggets versus the Warriors. Both teams that are really battling some injuries. You know, Steph Curry's been hurt on and off. Klay Thompson's been using this whole year to get back. Draymond Green has missed at spurts. And the Nuggets, we all know about their documented injuries with Michael Porter Jr. and Murray not being there the whole year. Do you guys think the Nuggets with Nikola Jokic, the current reigning and defending MVP, putting up a fight in the series, or do you think the Warriors are just going to steamroll these guys once Curry gets back?
I got the Nuggets, the Warriors in 6. I think this year's MVP, Nikola Jokic, is by himself. I don't think they get it done.
So you said 6 for the Warriors?
Yeah, I think the Warriors get it.
Yeah, I have this like a 6-game series for the Warriors also, unless like they just come out and just like play like very, very bad offensive basketball. I think they have too much firepower for the Nuggets to keep up personally. So that's where I'm at.
This is going to be my sleeper pick of the upsets right here. It's give me the Nuggets at plus 205. This is something this is something that if I'm gonna risk my cash, I'd rather risk it on something that I see possibly happening. When we said the Mavericks at plus 255 compared to the Nuggets at plus 205. The Warriors are shaky. Steph's not 100%. Klay's easing his way back. Draymond was out a lot of the year, so they depend. Wiseman was like a no-show all year either.
Yeah,
the guys on the court have been doing well to pick up the slack, Poole. But hey, don't sleep on the Nuggets. And who did you guys say that they have? I mean, the reigning defending MVP of the league, and they have a deeper squad as well. Will Barton's in there. Campazzo? If you want to talk,
he's out. Campazzo's out.
He's out. Oh, yeah, man, I like the dude.
Porter Jr.'s out and Campazzo's out.
Did Campazzo get suspended because of that shove, or why is he out?
I think it's injury.
No, he just shoved your boy, and he said it was on site. That Lakers player, the last game of the year.
No, but I think it's an injury because it shows him out.
Oh, okay.
Shit. Well, anyway, Rivers is still there. Monte Morris, Jeff Green, who's an OG, Aaron Gordon. I'm just saying, man, the potential was there for the first round upset. And if I'm going to put my money on a plus 200 dog for a series, it's going to be the Nuggets.
Hey, and Steph Curry too. I mean, his injury is still out there. He's not. He's not a solid game one. Like he's going to play. He's a game time decision type of thing. He still hasn't really played 5-on-5 yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, bro. You know. I'm going, bro. I'm the biggest Warriors hater there is, but I mean, this has merit. I mean, I'm backing Jokic. I think that he's the best player on the court. I think that he's going to be the best player on the court, and I say that even if Steph Curry was healthy. With him being injured, Jokic is clearly the best player. Yeah, maybe he's healthy, but he's just coming back. They have a chance just based off. They play through Jokic. We know that Jokic can play huge minutes in the playoffs. He's conditioned enough to play, the entirety of the game, close to 40 minutes. So I like their chances. It seems like Vegas kind of agrees as well as only a
plus 205.
Plus 205. That's very doable. And I could see them winning game 1 as well, bro. This is another series where, the Nuggets are coming in as a team that's gelling. They've been playing together. The Warriors, they said Steph Curry is going to play, but he will be on a minutes restriction. 30 to 35 minutes, not much of a restriction. I mean, that's decent.
He's going to play. All right, so he's going to play then.
Yeah, he is going to play. That's already been booked. But give me the Nuggets in this series, plus 205.
Yeah, game 1, the line's minus 6.5, which is, I think, 7:30 Saturday night primetime slot. I'm going to take the Nuggets at plus 6.5 in game 1 for sure.
Jokic triple-double Saturday night, right, Ron?
Let's do it.
He's going to pump Draymond.
I absolutely would like for the Nuggets to win because
there you go.
I'll tell you what, Ben. I see your brother Leo's Twitter, and it's making it hard for me to support the Warriors in any way. he's constantly going at the Lakers, and I'm like, man, we're not real rivals. Y'all not on our level. Why are you doing this to me? And I have to see it day in and day out, man.
He's been killing my cousin Gene as well, a big time Lakers fan. But
I have to talk to Leo about that.
He's talking about everything except the Warriors, though. Justin, keep that in mind as well. All right, there's a reason. This is upset alert. This is upset alert.
We got 2 on the Nuggets and 2 on the Warriors, and I think Justin's secretly rooting for the Nuggets.
He definitely is. He just wants. I thought about taking that also. Like, let me pick the Warriors. That way, if they win, fuck it, I was on them. And if they lose, shit, I still get to talk some shit. But nah, I'm picking the Nuggets, baby. We're bouncing them the first round.
I like that attitude.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
All right, well, we're getting to the end here, the first round series, and this next one we're going to talk about is my vote for the first round, or my favorite first round series of the whole playoffs. It's Nets.
It's going to be good, Roland.
Nets plus 120, Celtics minus 140. Interesting one on this. The Nets actually opened minus 140 or something like that, and the line's completely flipped within hours of the line opening. So a lot of money came in on the Celtics to make them the current favorites that they are, minus 140. But I'm going to ride with the Nets here. I think this is a good matchup for them. The reason being is they don't have to worry about Robert Williams. There's no real true front post presence for the Celtics, unless I'm mistaken. Somebody please correct me, but they win based on the play of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. When those guys are playing hot, they're one of the hardest teams to beat, and they proved it in the back half of the season. I think this is a good matchup for the Nets because of that, because it's just going to be Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant versus those two guys, mano a mano. And I'm going to put my money on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I know they have Marcus Smart, potential defensive player of the year. Doris Burke is trying to hype him up, but I still got Kyrie in that matchup. I'm not going to go off of my boy Kyrie in this one. So give me the Nets in this round 1 matchup. I don't think they're going to win the championship or get out of the East, but give me the Nets here to at least get this this series out of the way. Give me the Nets.
Yeah. You know, Roland, earlier in the year, I said the Nets would get out of the East. I'm going to stake with that. I'm going to stay with it. I think the Nets still get out of the East. I'm not sure what their odds are for the championship, but I can't leave them. I'm going with the Nets in this series. I think this is going to be a 6-game series. The Nets will get through. I just think KD and Kyrie are too much. And I just want to know, do we see any Ben Simmons sightings next series at all? Because the word out on the street is that he's been having good practices and whatnot. Yeah. So where are we at with Ben Simmons? Do we see him at all this playoffs if they get past this Celtics squad? He's still a good defender. You would want him, you know.
He'll play at some point.
I hope so. I hope to see what he is outside of Philadelphia.
Ben, I see you with a grin on your face. Where are you leaning with this one?
I'm grinning because I've got the Celtics winning this series, but I don't like the price at all. I think that they should be dogs just based off the Nets' star power, just based off the names. I think if you look at the overall team and chemistry, I think it's the Celtics all day. And I think with no real rim protector, DeAndre Drummond's not going to be able to play that many minutes in a playoff game. They're going to have to play like KD at the 5. And you know they can.
I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't be worried about that against the Celtics. I wouldn't be worried about the front court. But,
what I'm saying is Tatum and Brown should be able to get whatever they want. And I'm with shit. It pains me to say this, but I'm with Doris Burke, as mainstream as that is. I think that Marcus Smart and Ramadan will be able to control Kyrie, because we know it's Ramadan Kyrie right now. He's fasting. He's practicing.
About to go off for a 50-piece.
He's practicing Ramadan. So I mean, what happens if they they play an early game and he can't eat until the sun goes down? He's playing on an empty stomach with Marcus Smart pesting him.
It ain't no problem.
Give me the Celtics here. Give me the Celtics with the coaching advantage, the chemistry advantage. It sucks that their big man Williams, tore his ACL and isn't going to be able to play, because this is a series where he would eat. He would eat against the Nets. I think it's going to be too much Tatum against KD down the stretch, and Jaylen Brown, helping out. But honestly, bro, Kyrie is not going to have a big series, in my opinion. I don't think that he is. Marcus Smart Marcus Smart is gonna have. I think he's gonna have his way with Kyrie, bro.
I just hope
All
Kyrie
right, let's
listens to the rules and eats on away games because when you travel, you can eat during Ramadan.
They might be flying him out and back into town the same day then,
just to
feed his ass.
Yeah,
because it ain't gonna.
If Olajuwon could do it, Kyrie can do it.
What about you, Ron? Who you got here?
Give me the Celtics in 7, man. The Celtics in 7, just because, like the Hawks.
Oh, Ron.
I always like to talk about the All-Star break, boys. And there's 2 seasons. There's before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. And after the All-Star break, the team that got hot and has carried that momentum are the Celtics. They're playing well. Finally, they had Marcus Smart calling out, the ball hog that they were passing the rock. They're the better coach team, I think, as well. There's too much shit going on, the media circus with Kyrie and, all that stuff. KD's not 100%. KD's not, the skinny man assassin or what's that nickname that they
Slim Reaper?
Slim Reaper.
Skinny man assassin sounds good too, right?
No, Slim Reaper.
Trademark that and sell it to.
Hey, Ron, but I agree though. The Celtics from the All-Star break have been the best team in the NBA, bro. They have. Yeah. They figured it out.
They did.
Because we were writing them off as a team. We were saying before the All-Star break, these guys need to blow it up. It's not working out.
Yeah, we were talking about Jaylen Brown being traded for Dame and shit.
Yeah.
There was a report.
They must have heard us.
There was a report that came out that Jay Williams said that if Simmons debuts or is going to debut, that it's one of the dumbest things that he's ever heard. So that's Jay
Will. I don't
Will.
really care about what Jay Will says.
Hey, Roland don't give a damn about Jay Will.
Is that motorcycle Jay Will?
Bro.
I think he hit his head too hard.
If Ben Simmons comes back, I mean, a lot of people have been making the point that he's not a shot maker. He's more of a facilitator. He's a guy that's gonna, catch a pass and dunk, run a fast break. He's a defender. It's not as hard to incorporate him into the game. He's not going to take too much away from what the offense is. It's Kyrie and KD and everything else is extra. And that's why I like him in this matchup, because it's mano a mano. There's no the Nets don't have to worry about getting killed on the boards in this matchup with no Robert Williams, as we already talked about. That's why I like the Nets in this matchup, for the same reason that Ben likes the Celtics with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum being able to get whatever they want at the rim.
What, like Patty Mills? Who?
That's what, and Patty Mills too. I forgot about Patty Mills. I forgot about Patty Mills too, another guy.
So me and Roland are on the Nets.
The Dragon.
You guys are on the Celtics. Let's do a little friendly pod bet.
Roland's just going for the Nets because LaMarcus Aldridge, the expert.
No, I'm just not willing to bet against. I'm not willing to bet against KD and Kyrie and what I see as a matchup against them and Jaylen Brown and
that's real fair, Ron, because to think that Kyrie and KD will be eliminated in the first round, bro, by Tatum and Brown, that's very questionable for sure. But what we've seen from the Nets is they were a team that battled to get in. Yes, Kyrie did join them late, but even when Kyrie joined, they were losing some games they weren't supposed to, bro.
Yeah. And I agree with you guys. They are the hotter team right now. So I definitely get your logic. I'm just riding with the Nets here.
Let's put something on this game then.
It's like in the NFL when you take the better quarterback. In the NBA, you just take the better players, and KD and Kyrie on paper are definitely the better players. But when you put Marcus Smart in the picture,
and he's gonna have his way. That's what I want to remember from this conversation. Marcus
have his way
with Kyrie.
Kyrie, we're gonna see Kyrie eating a meal on the bench, fam. That's how bad Marcus Smart's gonna be in his ass.
Also, what have we talked about this whole time and made it at least in every series? Home court, home advantage. You go to Boston, you play in that arena. It's in a 7-game series. You got to give at least one game just due to the home crowd, and that might
Kyrie's gonna stomp on the mascot again.
Oh, Kyrie going back to Boston, bro. You know how terrible he is going back to Boston.
Yeah. All right, Justin. What is it, Justin? Say it. You want to?
What's the wager, bro?
What do you want to wager?
Let's do shots. Let's do shots.
Can we shake? Can we shake on it, and we'll come up with the?
If me and Roland win, y'all do 2 shots on the pod before we start, so that you feeling good through the whole pod. And if we lose, we do 2 shots on the pod. Let's do that.
We got to think of something more interesting than that.
I think so too.
Yeah, you think more than shots?
Well,
3
bro,
shots.
Just put us on for shots, but we got to get
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
we'll
goal.
figure it out.
Give
Or
me
maybe
shots
like
and- It's gonna
let's
be a
get-
hell of a series, bro.
You gotta barbecue me and Ben like this spread, bro. Like ribs,
You see, now we're
wings.
talking.
Like, and that's what I want. I want because you're the barbecue master over here. So if me
try the
and Ben
wings,
win,
right, Ron? We want to
Yeah.
try the wings.
yeah, we want a fucking spread. At least 1 rack of ribs, 10 wings each, a pound of fajitas, tortillas. I mean, that's
Pretty much
a
a
wager.
barbecue. Lose your
Yeah.
best to barbecue.
Before you
Now
Fund
do
the
that's a
barbecue.
wager.
Before
Hey
you
man,
do-
inflation's different nowadays. You know what I mean?
Fajita's getting expensive, huh?
All right. Well, we were in agreement in the first 3 series, and the last 2 were split down the middle, 2 and 2 on
Oh,
each
yeah.
side. So
We're all
let's
gonna
wrap-
agree on this next series, though, Roland.
let's wrap- I don't know if we are. There's somebody out there that might go for the Bulls.
Unless
We got
it's
the
you,
Bulls
because it
here.
ain't me.
No,
It
hey,
ain't
no,
me.
no, 'cause, we revisit things here. I said the Sixers and were my bold prediction to come out of the East. I remember
Sure,
somebody here had the Bulls as their bold prediction to come out of the East, and that's that's Ron. That's Mr. We all win down here.
Ron was drinking that day. I'll tell you that
The
much.
Bulls plus 795, Bucks minus 1190 here lined up. Ron, are you rolling with the Bulls here? Or are you
God
Oh,
damn,
no.
minus
Value. Talk about
1190.
value, Ron. Aren't you a value
Hell
boy?
no. Hell no. Shit. Not against the defending champions in the damn.
Oh shoot!
No way. My prediction was before all those injuries happened, man. So
Disclaimer.
I'll make it.
But
I'll
what
make- yeah.
injuries?
Full
What
disclaimer.
Because Levine's playing, DeRozan's playing,
Caruso's
Caruso's
back.
playing.
The injuries to my freaking heart of them playing the Bucks in the first round. I mean, if they would have gotten if they would have had a different round, but it's like, oh, we got the champs at home, you know. So
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
This and this line is like exactly where it should be, bro. The rowdiest line out of all the playoffs, but honestly, it's sweep or 5 tops. Like I want to give him the gentleman's sweep just because. You know, a game in Chicago, maybe DeRozan can go for 40 and they grind one out. But oh man, this looks like a sweep.
Yeah, I mean, pending like KD injury with the Warriors, Giannis going down. There's
You have to have some acts of God here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so it was a good story for the Bulls, though. No, Roland, like the regular season, and it kind of flamed out.
Good
And
resurgence.
people
for
started
them.
writing them off as pretenders. I know we did on this podcast.
Yeah.
But would you say if you're a Bulls fan, are you like, is this season acceptable from what you've been used to? Or
I think it's acceptable because they're one of those teams that they made a big splash in free agency, and that doesn't always work necessarily when you bring in a lot of new guys. But it worked for them up front. It created a lot of exciting moments. They were leading the East for a little while. You had people calling DeMar DeRozan an MVP candidate for a little bit while he was on that run.
He was top 3
of consecutive 30-point games or something like that, or 35-point games. I don't know what it was, that streak that he was on in the middle of the season. But yeah, the injuries, like you said, Ron and Ben, just got to them at the wrong time, and they couldn't beat good teams all year, even when they were healthy. That was the one thing that kind of stuck out, even when they were on their run. They weren't able to beat the good teams. Step in the right direction. They're in an interesting spot, though, in the offseason. I don't know if it's sustainable. You got DeMar DeRozan, who's going to be a little bit older. Love the guy, but he's a little bit older. And Zach LaVine. You don't know if you're going to give him the max yet or not. I think that's
He's gone.
decision to be made there. If he's even going to accept the max from you. So I think that's a big offseason for these guys.
You put these Bulls against any other teams, you could have an argument,
I think we're still
Raptors.
picking the Celtics over them.
Yeah.
We're picking the Sixers over them.
I'm not picking. I'm picking all the teams in the playoffs over the
That's
Bulls.
what I'm saying. Like the
I don't
Bulls,
know, man. You can't.
the
I
Bulls
am.
are being
You
treated
can't,
like
you
they're
can't
an
dog them
8 seed,
that
bro.
bad, bro. You
The
can't.
Bulls
dog
are
them
being
I
that
said
bad.
they don't have the height to manage in the 5th-4 spot. They got lucky this year with the free agency that they had. They weren't planning for a rebuild through free agency. They were drafting project players like Patrick Williams, a bum out of Florida State who wasn't even starting.
But he did play good though for them before he got hurt. But yeah, I get your point.
Yeah.
I like the point guard that they got out of Illinois as well, Osumu.
Yeah, Diosumo. He's been playing good.
He played well for them too, but it's the height at the end of the day, and it's just like the playoff basketball. We haven't seen it from Zach LaVine. This is his first time in the playoffs. I mean, maybe he puts the world on notice. I think we know what we're going to get from DeMar DeRozan. You know, I think that he's going to be their guy, but like I said, he'd have to go nuclear, like for this to even.
You have to take over.
Yeah, big time.
I think the Bulls' closest series here against all the East would probably be against like the Raptors. Maybe I think there's not too much size to worry about there. I think that might.
They'd be dogs still.
Yeah, maybe a 6 or 7 game series there. But
so even against the Raptors, you think dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be close.
Everybody else, they're dogs as well.
The game one line 5:30 TNT on Sunday is -10 for the Bucks.
Yep. 10-point favorites. All right, let's move on. We recapped the play-in to start off. We reviewed the first round matchups, gave you all our picks, even threw out a little bet there in the Nets and Celtics since we were so fired up about it. Let's get into maybe a little bit more foreshadowing of who we think is going to win the East outright. We got some odds up here. The favorites are the defending champs, the Bucks at +220. That wasn't the case all year. And the thing that I want to point out here is interesting. A lot of people have been pointing it out, just looking at the betting markets. The Nets, they're +300 to come out of the East.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics are +400. Who's the favorite in their series? The Celtics are favored over the Nets. Just a little interesting tidbit in the betting markets there. The Nets are still favored to come out of the East over the Celtics, and also at +400 are the Miami Heat, the 1 seed that no one's talked about yet. Do you guys like the East? The odds here? Do you see anybody that's worth betting on at this point in the season?
Like a lottery
I mean,
shot?
anybody really. Could you make would you want to put money on the Bucks?
Do you like anybody's odds here? What did the bracket look like one more time? Is that lined up to see who they would play next?
The other slide is not.
Oh no, one. Right here it is. So the Bucks would play the winner of the Philly and Toronto series, and unless Brooklyn wins, then it would really mess everything up. Right? They just play straight up like this, right, Roland?
Yeah, whoever's on that side of the bracket, they play straight up like that.
Okay, so the winner of Miami and whoever wins the play-in will play the winner of Philly and Toronto.
Correct.
And then the winner of the Bucks in Chicago will play the winner of Brooklyn and Boston.
Yep.
Just so we can see the road and if the odds get any better.
There you go. I think that's the one. Yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah, they match up.
So whoever wins this Brooklyn and Celtics series has to play the Milwaukee Bucks next.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So that automatically you want to start looking at the other side of the bracket straight up.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to get the value with the Bucks being the favorite. Or you just think that the Bucks can easily beat whoever comes out of that series and they walk into the Western Conference Finals. I mean, the Eastern Conference Finals because they beat either Brooklyn or Boston, and you just take them at 2-1. In my opinion, give me Philly. Their odds are pretty 5-1. They gotta win their first round series and then beat the Heat. We think that the Heat, can get by whoever gets in that playing game, or the Heat. Give me the Heat +400.
To win.
That'll be my choice for the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, my choice would probably be the Sixers at +500 to get out of those first 2 rounds and then maybe hedge out against whoever they're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
That'd probably be my only look there on the East. What about you, Ron and Justin?
I'm gonna stay with my Nets. I think the Nets get through. I'm gonna go +300 with the Nets.
There we go.
I mean, I don't need to hedge at this point because this is what I said. A few podcasts ago, I got to stay consistent and go with that.
There we go.
I forgot who I picked from the East.
I don't know. I think your bold prediction that day was that the Lakers were going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, that was prediction.
And that was sharp as hell. That was like a no doubter.
You're right on that.
I hated it, but it was true.
Give me I've just the way every game that I saw these guys play, it's just they're still so good, man. I just give me chalk here. Give me the Bucks. Plus 220. I mean, if I have $20 to spare, shit, I'm taking the Hawks at +6,000 because we saw the run that they went on to get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. But give me chalk, give me the Bucks. It's just they're so good.
All right, I like that we all took a different team though, so we can track that throughout the playoffs.
So the best odds are the Phoenix Suns here at even.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Phoenix Suns are even. San Antonio Spurs not lined because they lost last night. The next team there, we got the Warriors at plus 350 and the Grizzlies at plus 550. People were looking at the Mavericks as a potential dark horse before Luka got hurt, but I don't think there's any more merit on them until maybe they win a couple games without him and he comes back or something. But my pick here real quick, if I were to bet on anybody right now, it would be the Memphis Grizzlies because I think they would beat the Warriors in the second round and they get out. And that's with Curry, without Curry. I think the Grizzlies match up well against the Warriors, and I like them to get to the conference finals at least. But the Suns, man, the Suns have been the best team head and shoulders over everybody this year, by far playing the best basketball. Hard to argue against them. But in terms of value, give me the Grizzlies.
Yeah, value pick for me is going to be the Grizzlies as well. I do want to see this year over everything else, Chris Paul finally get his championship. I think it's time. It's due. That's the team I will be cheering for with my Lakers out. I want CP3, the point guard, to finally get his ship.
Yeah, for that reason, I'm going to go chalk here. I just like the matchup. Playing the winner of New Orleans and the Clippers, I think that's a 4 to 5 game series. Yeah. Everybody's healthy too right now for the Phoenix Suns, which is a good thing. CP3 already had his injury. He's back. I think that they can keep these series pretty short, their first 2 rounds, honestly. If Luka is going to be out and the Jazz do win that series, I mean, Phoenix is going to mollywop the Jazz, bro, in the second round. Yeah. If that's the matchup that they get. So their path is pretty easy. And, I mean, I really want to see the Grizzlies. That's what my heart is saying. But the Phoenix Suns, just after what happened last year, I think that they're going to represent the Western Conference again.
So could you say that there is maybe a little bit of value on the Suns? Because you think
I think that there is because, like I said, I expect their 2 series to be pretty no sweaters and them to be waiting for the Western Conference Finals opponent. That's what I expect for maybe Golden State or the Nuggets to be battling it out with the Memphis Grizzlies in the second round, and Phoenix Suns are just resting up, waiting. We've seen the chemistry. DeAndre Ayton is on a contract year, hasn't been extended, has a lot to play for. We know that Chris Paul's legacy is on the line yet another year in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Devin Booker has a lot to prove after what happened last year. Let's not forget, they were up 2-0 in the finals. They were up 2-0, and then they went and lost 4 straight. So they have a lot to prove. They brought back most of the team, and we've seen them win without Chris Paul. We've seen them win without Devin Booker. They're tested, and I do think that there's a lot of value because the Memphis Grizzlies, they just got there. You know what I mean? Do they take that jump right away that we saw the Warriors take, with Steph, Clay and them, where they just automatically, they had a badass record and they just stayed there consistently and won some championships? I don't know. Give me the Suns. I'm going to ride with Chris Paul one last time. And I swear, bro, if it doesn't happen this time, I'm out.
I'm surprised you didn't talk about the championship pedigree that the Suns brought in.
Who, JaVale McGee?
That's a good point.
All right, I'm glad nobody said this squad right here because
what is it, Ron?
I'm a big Spider fan, bro. This guy, the Jazz.
The Jazz, Ron.
Give me the Jazz. Hey, just for the sake of taking a different team, 2 guys on the Suns, and
okay.
You guys said
it's 2 guys on the Grizzlies, 1 on the Suns.
Okay. Oh, even better, man, because 2 guys on the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are not going to happen. They're great. John Morant's great, like I said earlier, but that's not going to get there. The Suns, Chris Paul, we are just like who was that coach who said they were who we thought they were, and Chris Paul is the guy. There you go. And Chris Paul is the guy who we think he is. He's gonna be the He's the Dan Marino. He's the guy that's. Now, if this is the year, if just like Ben said last year, to ride with him. If not, you're cutting the ticket for a Chris Paul championship ticket forever. Yeah. But if the trend continues, you got to give me the Jazz, man. At plus 900, I mean, talking about odds, talking about money. You got an extra bill.
They hate each other, Ron.
Doesn't matter. It's playoff
Like if
time.
you ask Donovan Mitchell, yo, should I take a chance on y'all plus 900? He'd be like, hell, he would tell you himself, hell nah, fam. Save your money, fam. We got Rudy. Like, no, save your money.
Hey, another sports saying right here: winning fixes everything. So,
all right.
Plus 900.
I like those sayings.
At plus 900, bro. Come on.
Right.
You got it. I mean,
I do want to say too, I am a Chris Paul fan, so I do want the Suns to win, but I think the Grizzlies have a little bit of value here because I do think they'll beat the Warriors.
And that's what it comes down to. Those are really good odds, bro. 5-1.
Really though. Okay, so the Jazz get through the Mavericks. If the Jazz match up with the Suns in the conference finals, I mean, they're golden to win.
They match up second round.
You think they're golden?
Second round? They match up second round.
That's what I said. The conference semis.
Wait, you said Jazz over the
Suns. You said
Suns.
No, I said if that happens, I think they win the West.
Who?
Jazz.
The Jazz.
You think that they beat the Suns in the semis?
I said if that happens, the Jazz win the West.
That's what he's calling. Yeah, that has to happen.
It has to happen.
Exactly. That's why I just said if they beat the Suns.
What does it happen or not? Why are you saying if that happens?
I already took them to win the West, so that has to happen, like Roland said.
All right. So we got some.
Yeah, Ron. Okay.
That was fun.
That was a good little round there.
We got our horses.
There you go. Let's put the cherry on top with the overall winner.
We got our outrights. Ron and Justin, thank you for putting these slides together.
Mostly Ron. I just had that first slide. He took over. His slides are always better.
No wonder Embiid wasn't on that first slide.
Thank you.
He put Harden on instead of Embiid.
We got our outrights here. Let's look. The favorite is the Suns. They're plus 250. They're followed by the Bucks at plus 450. And then we got the Nets again at plus 600. And the Warriors at plus 700, and we're the Celtics plus 900. You guys ready to roll with the Celtics in the East and take them plus 900 to get out of there? Anybody like those odds at plus 900? Anybody like shit?
I mean,
give me the Suns plus 250. If I didn't, it doesn't make sense. I like the Grizzlies at plus 550.
Rolling hedging out already, bro.
I mean, if you're gonna take the Celtics to win the East at what plus 4, plus 600, something like that, you might as well take them to win the ship.
Yeah,
right. I don't think that they win the ship.
So then you're gonna hedge out too.
Well, I mean, I took the Suns to win the West, and I'm just like I said, I'm riding with CP3 one last time, and I'm cutting ties. Cause if it doesn't happen,
it's just crazy that nobody's talked about the Heat, bro. I mean.
Yeah,
the disrespect for the number one seed is crazy.
Number one seed. Wow.
That's who I took to win the East. I took the Heat.
Yeah, he took the Heat.
Plus 1,000 to win it all.
I took him to win the East.
Number one seed.
But you like the Heat though, because you were on the Heat like 2 years ago too.
They were my dark horse when they made that run in the bubble as well.
Yeah.
He's a bubble boy.
I got a good read on the Heat, man. What can I say?
Nah,
because you were on them way early before people were on them. I give you that. I was real surprised with that.
But give me the Suns here. Like I said, I think they cakewalk to the Western Conference Finals, and they've got revenge on their mind, man. They've got revenge on their mind after that embarrassment last year.
All right. So for overall winner, I just said it. They're so good watching them play. Plus 450. Give me the Bucks. I'm gonna ride with the Bucks.
Yeah,
they're just the most put together squad, bro. Yeah. They're the Cowboys in the 90s.
And they're defending their title, bro. You know, they're gonna go out guns blazing.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about overall winner here, you're allowed to pick two teams because no one bets just one team when they're talking about future. You're gonna have a ticket or two to get the maximum out of your future bet, you know.
What's the other ticket?
No, I'll go Nets and I'll go Suns. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do.
There you go. So you got the Suns and the coming on.
What are the Nets odds up there?
Plus 600, I think.
Plus 600.
That's not bad.
Plus 600. What were they to win the East? They were plus 300. So yeah.
Hey, roll it, and then look at the gap in Boston to win the title and the Nets to win the title. But like Boston's just favored for the series because they have home court. But the gap here is 3-1.
Vegas is hedging too. That's the thing.
The gap to win the East was 2-1. That's pretty crazy.
So let's just talk storylines here. With KD winning this, let's say he wins this title. What does that do for his legacy? Because a lot of people say those Golden State championships weren't as high because that team was already stacked winning championships before him.
Yeah,
this is his first title. I would give him his first championship title here.
Nah, I mean he won Finals MVP. I can't disrespect him like that in those series.
But that team was winning ships without him.
Yeah, but they had just lost without him too. So I will say that
they won one way without.
Yeah, they won one and lost one. They'd come out a loss, and Steph and Draymond they reached out to KD as the story goes. But anyways, for this championship, shoot, man, I just think it further solidifies his legacy as one of the top 15, top 10 players in the NBA, and this is probably his hardest earned title. Yeah. I will say that. It's his hardest earned title.
Does he need another title though? Like for his legacy?
Yeah. Oh hell yeah!
He's up there. These guys collect rings.
Okay. Fair enough.
My thing is Ramadan lasts into July.
Ramadan.
Like Ramadan goes into July.
You're banking on Ramadan because you're really banking on this Ramadan.
I'm just saying, bro. I mean,
was he practicing when he won the championship with the?
No, he definitely changed. He's changed since then. He wasn't Sage Kyrie back then.
Does Kyrie take a different name now that he's on that side?
We faded MMA fighters during Ramadan when they practice Ramadan, and I'm gonna fade NBA player during Ramadan.
Consistency. Okay.
If he's gonna practice it, the Ramadan ends in July. I deployed to a country that was practicing Ramadan, and I was there for 5 days of Ramadan, and it was long sleeve pants, no eating until after we practiced by their like customs because we were visiting their country. So. And just everything was closed. Restaurants and everything were closed. If he makes it to be playing still in July through a full Ramadan, he's going to be weak. He's going to be frail. And there's no way. There's no way.
We got 5 minutes before Justin has to leave us. So on the flip side, talking about storylines, because that was a good point about KD. If chalk sticks and Milwaukee wins, what does this do to Giannis's legacy? I mean, he's multiple MVPs, back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back.
He's the best player in the NBA. He's got to be. That label goes to him if he wins it this year.
Yeah.
And as far
as arguments for me. No arguments for me. He's the best player if he wins another ship.
As far as
because that's his team. Everyone knows that's his team.
Where would you put him?
He's stuck there.
All time because he's very young. I don't know about all time, but I'm saying like right now, people can still debate. Giannis is the best player. It's debatable. If he wins it, it's not a debate anymore. It's the torch has been passed.
And if he wins another one while he's still young, he has a lot more time to keep working on that resume for all time.
He's ahead of LeBron right now in terms of like where they are at and their, I guess, respective ages and whatnot. But if he wins this title, I mean, his legacy is solidified to me. Like 2 titles,
2 ships is a lot, bro.
You talked about multiple defensive player of the years.
And with the team, everybody said he wouldn't do it with Roland.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the guy. He's developed from what he was when he came into the league as a project, having not played basketball for so long. So I got to give the guy major respect. To me, I think, like Ben said, it's debatable, but I would have to put him as the best player all around in the league right now. All around, even though I fancy KD's offense to his, but push come to shove, who I want to start my team with right now, Giannis. There's no other question. Who you want?
He's got defense. He's got offense rolling. Yeah, he's got it all.
And he can pass.
The only other guy to start a team with right now, maybe that I'd argue, is Luka because of his age. But I go Giannis to start a team right now, and he's my best player.
This just goes into like non-super team, super small market Milwaukee.
Staying home
argument also, staying home, not taking the money. Obviously, he got paid stupid, but I mean, he stayed.
And then people aren't going to be like, and he had Chris Middleton because Chris Middleton's that guy everybody always shits on. Like, he's never going to win with Chris Middleton. And then Chris Middleton comes up huge in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Chris Middleton as your fucking Robin is not You know, that gives
Not
you
a
more
bad
reason
Robin.
not a bad Robin,
But people are going to be saying he had all this help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drew Holiday, another very under the radar guy. You could say very underrated because he's not a household name. But if you watch hoops, you know what he brings on both sides of the ball for your team. You know what I mean? And
He's a
just
dog.
needed to be in the right situation. He's been a guy that the whole time he's played basketball, he's been like one of the best guys. And he got to the NBA and I guess New Orleans is just not the place because him and AD were there together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think we fucking finished right on time because our boys got to go and
You covered it all.
Great show.
You covered the first round good.
So good to be back. So good.
I'm sure we're going to be back next week with something with the current status of the first round because it won't be over at that point.
Bring back the lives, cause
the lives.
Yeah, maybe for some of the bigger games.
Pop in
Maybe we'll go live before that Celtics and Nets.
I was gonna say, if that Celtics Nets go 7 games, oh my god, a live would be fucking.
Hell yeah!
Maybe we do a live for next Thursday.
Yeah, we'll bring back the live. We got to bring back the lives for the playoffs, man. I think that people would be down to pregame with us. I mean, the TNT crew's good. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna can't hate on those guys. Can't hate on those guys. But I think some people would join us to pregame for some of these NBA games.
Yeah, we can do that.
But,
let's start
next Thursday live. Let's do it.
Follow us, man. Throw out. You guys want to throw out the socials, and for everybody who's listening. You can hear us on, or Justin knows more about, where you can listen to stuff. So if you want to hit
Apple, Spotify, anywhere you find a podcast, you can find us now. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Our handles are our names here as well. So if you look at our names, those are our handles. We do have a Twitter for our podcast page as well. And you can find us at We All Win as well on Facebook. Ron posts daily plays there. So you want to look there too as well.
Contest too, man. It's, bringing back the live was a good idea, but shit, we'll bring back some contests as well. Ben made some shirts. We gave those out. Carla won one. Shout out to Carla. Shout out to Rick.
The Super Bowl champ, Carla.
The fantasy football. Rick got a jersey.
I just gave Rick his Debo jersey actually this past week.
So there you go, man. We appreciate the love. We appreciate everybody listening who's listens through the whole show, or if you just hear the clips about it. But tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate it, man. And NBA playoffs should be lit. I'm excited.
All right, guys. I got to go.
Peace.
Later.
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap that like she scored 30.
What are we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.